Okay, my friends, another shocker du jour, the heart of America. Take a good look at these blood vessels and the different colors and the plumbing and so forth. All right, you see it? Bonjour, mes amis, my outstanding friends. What is it today? Well, it's another shocker du jour. What is this? Well, let's examine what it is. What does that look like to you? Why do you think that stuff got like that? And what is this, all this stuff swirling around here and then running off like that? What's going on with that? And why is all of this whole area just like the same stuff? Look, what's going on there? Why is it like that? Why is it like that? Why is it like that? Why is it everywhere like this? This is eroded away, but if you come up, there's a flat top here. You see this? A nice flat top. And all of this is that same stuff eroded away. Now what is going on with that? And why is it so red? Look at this. Look at how amazing this stuff is. Look, let's let it settle in for a second. You know, why is that pattern like that? That's what I look for, is patterns. And I say, boy, that is interesting. That's just too interesting to be naturally runoff of water. So let's think about this in a mud fossil way. And we all know that the mud fossils were gigantic, absolutely enormous. And we also all know that mud fossils had red blood and black vein blood, because it turns black. Normally it's blue in the body. And this, my friends, is a heart. A very, very large heart. And one side of it is the vein side, and one side is the artery side. And it's a red and black. And all of these little blood vessels that are everywhere are what you see on the outside of a heart. All right, as I think I've shown you already, or I will. I mean, you could go and look this up yourself. But people need to start looking at this. This is not just an accident. They say, oh, look at that. Just, ooh. And then there's people that are trying to justify this in the old theory of geology, where this is that sediment and it just laid here and it did this and something else dropped on top of it and then there was a little flood and then somebody, I don't know, they have so many theories now, it's just ridiculous. But they're trying to stay with the old geology, just like physics is trying to stay with the old physics. Things don't work sometimes and you have to move on. Now let me show you, this is, I think it's the aorta. Watch this. That's what a heart looks like right there. That's what a heart looks like. That's the aorta. Then you got the black. Then you got the red. And I have one here that turned to glass. That's the aorta on this one. And then you start going through the blood until you get to the red over here. Of course, this is really turned almost to glass. That's the same thing. All right, and this is what it is. It depends on the conditions that it was in, and of course how big it was. It's just a crazy world, my friends. Absolutely crazy. That is the heart of America. All right, I believe I've shown you what a heart looks like, and that, my friends, is a heart. And these, my friends, are the blood vessels that I just showed you, that are on the exterior of a heart. Now, the heart contains both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Remember I talked about green coming out of red blood? It makes everything turn very green, and this is the red blood area. Now, this is the heart right here. And that, I believe, right here, is the aorta coming down in, or one of those extremely big valves that comes down in, and then you separate it out from the yellow to the black to the red. That's the different oxygenation states of blood. And this is where the tissues meet. You see that? That's not accidental. All right, this is where the tissues meet right there. The black is the vein side, and the red is the artery side. And the way the heart pumps is it's all one big wrapped around muscle, and it just goes loop, 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 and one side pushes out and one side sucks in, pushes out and sucks in. And that's how this is done. That's how it's done. And these are the blood vessels. Now, this is out in, I forget where it is, but it's Owl Rock. I think, Arizona. It's in Arizona. All right, look at the size of this thing. That is a heart. If you could think it's not a heart, well, good for you. I think it's a heart. And this is the United States. That's the size of it. So I would say that was the heart of America. But I'm going to tell you there's other things that were absolutely huge too, but not as huge as what a heart this size would do. And that is the East Coast dragon, Quetzalcoatl. Now I did a video on him yesterday. This is Quetzalcoatl right here. This is his head. And this is his feathers. And he's laying on top of whatever this thing was, because I think that thing is all of America, or pretty close, if that's a heart. It's got to be pretty close. Now, and this guy here was squirting something out into here, into the ocean, in the Gulf, to try to kill something that was out here, whatever this thing was. It's just a bizarre world we live in, absolutely phenomenally bizarre. And I'm going to show you this dragon again today, and Luray Caverns, and how the plumbing worked in this thing, and how it actually had fertile areas, and where those fertile areas are. You're gonna blow your mind right out your little head. Alright, check this out. This is a heart. I never could understand why they had all these black spots going over and over. See them? All these little black spots in this white stripe. And I said, what the hell is that all about? All these little black spots. Well, I'll show you what it's all about. This is a heart. And that is one of the separation lines, but it is a vein. Let me show you the vein in the actual heart. And veins fill up with silicon dioxide, which is quartz, where they're empty. But the black blood is where the valves were. And the same thing on Uluru, which is also called Ayers Rock in Australia. It is a heart. Alright, what I was just showing you was this heart right here. It was in the microscope, and these are the black spots. This is literally the ventricle walls, and that right there is a vein. Wait till I show you. It's just amazing. I just ran into this today from some very old pictures I had. Now, remember this. This is the way they think of the Earth. It's just layer after layer, lake periodic and this and that, and they all layered up. No, these are actual layers of tissue. That is a creature's body. Now, they say this is like 150 million years in one picture. Well, it's not. This is skin at the top. These are all the layers of membranes. And they keep going on, membrane, membrane. This isn't just erosion. That right there is connective tissue. This is muscle. And you run into connective tissue, muscle, and then you get down to where the bones are finally. This thing is, the creatures that are on this earth still are just absolutely astronomically gigantic. Now, I just showed you that chunk of muscle that was on in the ocean. Well, this is the one that's in my shop right here. This is when I first took it out. Remember you saw that big white stripe, and then you saw all the flesh and stuff. Up here is where the membranes are, and the skin is at the top. Now, this is one I have in my shop right here. This was from, I think it's a shoulder or something. I'm not really sure. It could be, I don't know where it was from, but this is quite obviously a ball and socket of some sort. Now, this is the tissue, but it's just the same tissue as this right here. This is when it first came out of the ground. They get dried out and they get, you know, they just change a little bit. But this right here is the tendon, right here and here. Here it glues right into the bone. Here starts, after the abrupt transition, you start into the muscle. You see? This is the bone. This is where the glue is. There's that little short tendon, and then it goes into the muscle. And then the muscle starts to get weak out here. And originally it's very strong. You see all this connective tissue? Just like we saw up on that rock. That must have been right here, and this very early section of the connective tissue. That's only a muscle, because it's heavy in a connective tissue and layering, and then it just drops off, just like this does. You see how it breaks at the end here? It gets weak, because now you're into the really floppy muscle. Okay, this is really cool. This is Socratic questions and answers, anatomy and physiology, and we're going to be doing the heart, and that is what the heart looks like, but check this out. That's it right there. Whoops, another heart just fell on the floor. These are, I believe it goes like this way right here. All right, this is where you have the little vein valves in this little vein. And then you got a really big one here. Now, I don't know if there's any valves in that. I doubt it. These have the valves. Basically, it's that way. And there was a big hole up in here and another ventricle wall. They just change in different ways depending upon where they were. And I think this died and the heart was flat like that, because they all have a flat spot. It could be this side, I don't know. Well, actually this is flatter. Let's go with this one. But here's the problem. When they were in this flood, they were just all smushed together. So you could have flat spots all over the place, which you do, but it's still a heart. And they could also turn into glass and have the aorta sticking out here in glass, and still have some blood in where the valves were for the blood, and everything else inside the cavities turned into quartz, because the vein, I mean the blood emptied out. Blood empties out of the arteries and the veins. The veins have clamps, and that's these little black spots. And that's what you're going to find in here. This is just like this. And where do you see where it is also? It's on Uluru, which is also called Ayers Rock in Australia. I'm going to show you that. And that is the heart of Australia. Okay, my friends, just so you know, the United States is not an unusual case. There are hearts everywhere, because every creature apparently had one. Now, I have shown you my glass heart, and everybody's searching for a heart of glass. Now, this is Uluru. Now, I am going to show you a bunch of pictures of Uluru, and they are going to be called Ayers Rock. This was from long ago, when that's what they were calling this. This is an indigenous, sacred artifact that should never be called Ayers Rock. I apologize for having those labels on there, and I'm going to change them. It's just that it's very hard to do that at this moment, with the way my files are organized. Anyway, what you're going to see here is heart tissue, just as this. And those black dots, as I showed you before, or will show you, are vein valves. And they are in one of the veins that runs across in the center of the heart. Now, Uluru has them too. Now watch this. This is Uluru's heart vein valves. Right there. They're coming down the hill. Boom, 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 boom. And that's why they're black. Vein has the black blood. And they have little valves in them so that it can't go backwards. That's the whole key with the veins. Arteries don't have that restriction. Now, let's look at what the muscle itself looks like. Remember I showed you this. Look at those stripes and striations and all these bundles, the tips of the bundles. You see them around here? Well, what do we have here? This is what a muscle of the heart looks like. It's really all one big long band, and it just goes loop, and when it comes back and goes this way, it pushes out and comes back, and that's how they pull out. And they have to have valves, so they're going to go only one way and not come back. That's the whole idea. But you see the muscle banding. That's really what I was showing you. I seem to get carried away with my explanations. Now, what is this? This is muscle, actually cellular muscle fibers. All right, this is way down deep, And each one of these is a muscle fiber. And what do we have here? Muscle fibers. That's Uluru. And this is Uluru. It's all muscle fibers. And what do we have here? Here's Uluru. There's a little nice close-up. You can't miss it if they pay attention. This is the heart. And this was where, I don't know, maybe I showed you already, but I believe this is this right here. These are the little ones, going this way. And this is the big one going this way. The big one has no valves in it. The little ones have the valves. That's what it looks like to me. No. And of course, Uluru has. I mean, you saw that. And this is just the fibers. These are the muscle fibers. Isn't that something? I think it's something. And of course, I showed you this in my shop. The muscle I have in my shop here. And they claim this is 150 million years of sedimentation. No, that's 15 minutes of death. The creatures that were on the earth, I cannot explain it, so don't point to me for explanations. I get the nastiest comments. Oh, you explain this, big shot. Well, no, I can't explain it. How the hell am I going to explain that? There it is. I'm just showing you what's on Earth. I'm not trying to act like a big shot. I'm just having so much pushback. I thought I could just dump this and walk away and watch and be excited. No. We have to fight like hell to have people pay attention. Look at this. You see that? That's what a breast looks like inside. Well, what would happen if it turned into a mud fossil? Well, perhaps that. This is just so far beyond belief. As again I say, the average human mind is having a very, very, very difficult time even allowing this for their eyes to open to see. And the smarter they are, the closed eyes are more glued shut. The more intelligent a person is, the more likely it is that they will just dismiss everything for their own opinions without examination. I don't do that. Of course, I'm not intelligent. I just look and see what I see, and then I got to figure it out. That's all there is to it. I don't dismiss anything. I have seen the most bizarre things in my life that nobody will ever see. Nobody will ever see. So it's time you open your eyes, clean out your ears a little bit, and pay attention. This has extremely serious, eternal ramifications. In my mind, this is not just, wow, look, they're dancing with the stars again this week. Isn't that fabulous? And then you just go back to your own little video games. This has a lot more to do with your life than you think. I love you all.